on YouTube. Wonderful. Teach you how to grow Moringa microgreens today. Good day. Good day, everybody. It's a beautiful Sunday. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We are back. And what I can do here is actually share this link for you. We are going to teach you how to grow Moringa microgreens. Moringa microgreens. Look at these babies. And it is a beautiful day today. Let me go ahead in the chat here. Share a link. Okay. There we go. I can see the chat. Great. Oh, I wanted to share the link. There we go. So I'm going to get the link for today's Zoom so you can come in here. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Copy invite link. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our live event on Sunday. It's 3 p.m. If you want to come into webinar or come into Zoom as co-host today, here's the link. We have a waiting room and a waiting chat. If you'd like to come in, I would love to bring you in. Of course, if you have any questions, more than welcome to text me at 813-567-3100. Great. Getting a few people in here. Welcome, everybody. Good day. So we've gotten a lot of really important questions about the Moringa microgreens this week. We've had about 10 orders or so that have come through the website. You can actually grab your Moringa Microgreens Kit at growmoringa.shop. And it's on sale. You can use code Moringa10 for 10% off. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the actual product, so that way you can go directly to the microgreens product. It's a wonderful kit. This is the perfect time of year right now for everybody to sprout their microgreens. Okay. So go ahead and get your microgreens kit there. And we're getting a few people in here. We got about 10 people or so coming into YouTube. Welcome, everybody. And we've got several hundred people already coming in on TikTok on this beautiful Sunday. I'm enjoying my Moringa microgreens. I actually want to show you. We have a little package here. This little package here. Nice, simple package. And what you'll want to start doing is just enjoying your fresh Moringa microgreens. Just look at this beautiful raised bed of greens here in this tray. I sprouted 200 Moringa seeds in this tray. Oh man, probably about 3 weeks ago already. It took about a week or so to sprout. And then it's been about 2 weeks of just harvesting greens. Look at this beautiful tray of just harvesting greens. These are Moringa trees. So these are not dwarf Moringa trees. One of the questions that we got this week was, where did you get your dwarf Moringa seeds from? These are not dwarf Moringa seeds. These are Moringa seeds that you can get from normal trees. These are normal trees. This is not like a miniature forest, although it definitely could be, right? These seeds are the same seeds that are grown as big, big trees. I want to get one. There we go. Now I've got everything. Lights are falling. I've got everything. This is what happens when we're on live. Look at this. This is actually a 1-year-old seed. So it'll go from this to this in less than a year. Look at that. So this is a moringa tree from seed that I cut back, and I'm going to be putting this in a box as a mature moringa tree. And we got a couple here. I've got 3 over here. We do 1 on sale, and then we do a 3-pack on sale. And I just pulled these out of the raised beds. And they've got beautiful, beautiful tap roots already. And these ones are only like 6 months, not even. But they've got really nice wood on them, real thick and sturdy. So when you get them, they will re-sprout into new trees. These are the mature trees. Right, so the pack that's in here is the same. Let me see if anybody wants to come in on the Zoom. Anybody can come in on the Zoom. There we go. All right, nice. Plus, I can kind of see it live too. That's good. Perfect. I'm actually going to bring this down here. Great. Hey, Marie is here. Wonderful. Thanks, Marie. Welcome. Open Sky is here. Welcome, Open Sky. We've got our beautiful microgreens kit here. And we wanted to show everybody that this is now on sale. You can use code Moringa10 for 10% off. And this is a kit of parts. And that's what we're going to put together today. We're going to put together the whole kit together. And we're going to show you how to assemble this entire kit. Now, first, let's do a little maintenance. Let's get a few more people in here. Let's do some maintenance on these trees. Let's go ahead and put ourselves together a little pack of greens that you could potentially sell for $5 at the store. Because that's really what I want to share with you, is that this is an income generating opportunity as well. So one of the first things that you want to do is just want to kind of, relieve the crowding. Might be crowding first. So we're going to see if I can put this down a little bit. So we're going to try to bring some of these back even below the first leaf. So the trick is that if you cut your moringa stems below the first leaf, if you cut it just like this below the first leaf, it'll regrow a whole new stem from the seed. So it'll pop up a whole new stem. So some of these actually have 3 to 4 stems coming out of the same seed now, because I've cut it back, and it keeps shooting up multiple stems now. Like a crepe myrtle has sometimes multiple stems to it. Same thing happens to the moringa tree. Now, if you cut it above the first leaf, this is considered the first leaf. This was the first leaf that popped out as the seed was coming out, the stem was coming out. These first leaves formed. Now, if you don't want to cut the stem back just yet, you can always just cut back the first leaf, right? Those ones are usually the first ones to yellow. Then you can also just cut back above the first leaf. So let's just say that this was still on the tree, right? You would cut it back above the first leaf and it would re-sprout new stems from this moment right here. So from these branches, it would reshoot out whole new stems, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 stems. That's why this little kit is going to continually flow and produce tons and tons of greens for you for 30, 60, 90 days. Okay, so we see some of these are getting really tall. I'm going to go ahead and bring some of these back like this. So I cut it way below the first stem on this one. No, I think the first stem was even way down there. This might have even been the second stem. But I'm going to go ahead and put these in our package. We're just going to load up on a bunch of greens right now, so that way we can have a full package, and also just bring some of these branches back down low, so that way they don't continue to yellow. So a part of this maintenance here that we're doing is also preventing these leaves from yellowing out so much. Because what happens is if you just keep these greens on here and you don't continually harvest and cut them back, they're just going to yellow out. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm just bringing these back. I'm getting them back before they yellow. A lot of people ask, why are my moringa trees yellowing? And it's because you're not eating them fast enough. You've got to keep up with the cutting and the harvesting and the eating and the using. These leaves are so soft and young, they don't really live that long. They are very short living green. These greens only live, maybe a few days, especially the first leaves that come out, they don't live long at all. So I'll even come down here and I'll even grab some of the leaves that are just really kind of like some of the first leaves. They might still be on the stem and they don't look like they're really getting any greener. They're just yellowing out. I'm going to get them before they yellow. Also, grabbing them before they yellow helps to reduce the amount of, say, mold. Not mold, mostly fungus. Fungus affects the moringa trees the most because these leaves are very soft, and also they're in an environment where, especially out here, is very humid. I have these outside right now and it's super, super humid out. So it stays wet in the air all the time and they just end up just yellowing out. I'm just really kind of trying to grab any of the real big, thick stems that seem to be really thick. Oh, look, I've already cut this one back right here and it regrew a whole new stem. So all of these greens are all new within the last week. This is all new and it ended up staying pretty green. I never even got back these first leaves, but we can go ahead and grab them now before they turn yellow. And just get them in this nice little garnish pack that we have that we could potentially sell at the farmer's market. You could take a couple of these trays to the farmer's market and then even present to people right then and there that you're packing their microgreens up right there for them, fresh. $5 or buy 2 get 1 free. This is a way for you to begin generating some income from your fresh greens. Awesome. So I'm just going to keep thinning this out a little bit and then we're going to start our demonstration. We're just getting a few more people in here. Welcome everybody. Good day. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for coming in and watching and joining us. Good. Want to make sure if anybody wants to come in on here, they can also come in and hang out with me, ask me questions right on the live. This is a great way for you to start growing the greens right on your kitchen counter, on a porch, on a balcony. And to also just have fresh greens for yourself on a regular basis. Every day you can just come out, grab a few greens, any of the ones that are just yellowing out before they yellow out. I mean, this is a great little example of just getting some fresh greens together. A couple bucks, even just for yourself, put that in the refrigerator. You can save it for later. One of the best ways to use moringa is in cooking. And so what I'll even do for this is probably just put it on my pizza later. I'm going to make a pizza later. It's Sunday night. I'll enjoy a nice little pizza and a movie And then I'll have my Moringa garnish on top. And it's just an extra protein, extra vitamin, mineral rich additive to your meal. And this is what we're going to put together now. We're going to put together this kit right now together on camera for you to be in to learn how to put this kit together. And then also this video will be used for everybody that's ordering the kits. This video will be used as a way to show people how to use their kits, how to put their kit together, and how to maintain their kit as it continues to grow. I'm actually making a little web page right now for you. Actually, inside of this box is going to be a QR code. Everybody who orders a kit is going to have a link to that QR code, which is going to take you to the page that's going to describe everything in detail with photos and links to all the microgreen videos. So this is how it's going to come, just like this. And it's got 4 pounds of soil. This is composted soil. It's a sandy base soil. It's made from yard clippings. It's made from wood and mulch and grass. And it's been turned and composted over the course of a year. It's made by a local company called Florida Organic Solutions. And I get about 18 to 25 yards dropped off to my farm regularly. So that way I have fresh compost to use out of my farm everywhere. Every day I'm always shoveling soil, composted soil somewhere. So this is really good, dark, rich matter. But at the same time, this is just a base. This is literally just kind of like home base. You know, this is something to start with. This still needs some additives. It still needs some microorganisms, some vitamins, some minerals. And for our use, it definitely needs some perlite to help with drainage. Okay. So your kit comes with 4 pounds of soil. And it also comes with this box. It's a book inside of a box, right? So this is the How to Grow Moringa Trees Guide. Inside of our box, it has all the nutrient information about moringa. And it comes with 200 seeds. These are, that was such a funny question. The lady was like, where did you get those dwarf moringa trees? They're not actually dwarf moringa trees. These moringa trees are full. They're able to grow full grown. These are the same seeds that grow full grown trees. They're started here. And then another lady asked, wait, so you mean that after they grow up in the kit, I can transplant them out into the field, or I can transplant them into a bigger pot? Yes. Yes, that's the whole point of this whole thing, is to get you 200 trees sprouted in a small space, get you started, get you at a scale and a density that you can begin to grow it at scale to potentially start your business. This is the investment that you're going to need to make to start your moringa business right here. These 200 trees, they're the trees that are going to get you where you need to go within the next year to be able to make 3, 4, 5 figures a year off of moringa. And it all starts with these 200 seeds that you sprout inside of this kit. Because as they begin to grow and you cut them back and you're using them and you're eating them and you're making some cash off of them, or you're putting them in your garnishes, then they turn into large trees. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to start forming wood on here, inside of here. They're going to start getting really thick inside of here. They're actually going to start pushing up a taproot. They're going to start pushing up a little carrot out of this tray. As they do that, you can grab it, pull it out, and then you can put that in a pot, or you can put that in the ground from there. This is your incubation station. This is how you get started. This is how you're going to be able to make income from moringa. You start with these 200 seeds that are provided for you inside of this microgreens kit. Okay. Stay tuned, because I've got a little tip for you on how to get your tree sprouted super fast. Actually, you're not going to want to miss this. Also, what comes inside the kit is your 8-ounce bottle of biostimulant. This is your moringa leaf extract. This is what we make from the moringa leaves to help increase the nutrient-rich soil and microorganisms, because moringa is super special. And the reason why is because it has a natural occurring hormone in the leaf. Inside of this leaf right here is a natural occurring hormone known as zeatin. There is more zeatin inside of a moringa leaf than any other plant. It's one of the reasons why moringa is the fastest growing tree in the world. One of the fastest growing trees in the world. I think it's literally like number 2. The first fastest growing tree is in Brazil, but of course, Brazil, I mean, it's amazing, amazing place. The Amazon. This tree is from India, and this is the second fastest growing tree in the world. But what makes this tree a little bit different is that this tree is actually a softwood, and it reproduces tons and tons and tons of woody material. And inside of the leaves is a hormone known as zeatin. Zeatin is then concentrated and put into here. This is a concentrated form of zeatin in a liquid form. So the leaves essentially are made into a tea. This is a very highly concentrated extract of the leaf. It's like a tea. It's like a compost tea. We actually call it a fermented plant juice. You guys have heard of fermented plant juices before, where you can make it right in your own backyard. You could potentially make a fresh batch of this from your very own leaves. You don't need to necessarily have this. But if you don't have any moringa, or you don't have the ability to just wait and make a batch of this extract, this is what comes inside of the kit. Fresh moringa greens are the best. They taste a little bit like peanuts, and that's because they have a protein in it very similar to peanuts because of the oleic acid, which is an amino acid, essentially, that is the building block of proteins. Right? So here we've got the MLE, or the Moringa biostimulant extract. Okay. That comes with it. We also have a bag of perlite. This bag of perlite is going to be mixed in with your soil, so that way you have really good drainage when you're making your soil. That way your soil dries out really nicely and it doesn't stay wet. Moringa doesn't really like it really wet. And let me know if you guys have any questions. I thank you. Marie is actually in here saying everybody use the code Moringa10. Thanks, Marie. Really appreciate it. And you can use code Moringa10 for 10% off of your kit. Everything here is included. You just have to sprout the seeds inside of this tray. And we're going to continue doing this entire thing until you guys learn how to make your own Moringa Microgreens Kit. Included with the kit is also moringa powder. But in this case, we're not necessarily eating it. We're not going to feed it to the animals. We're going to feed it to our soil. We're going to put this vitamin-rich powder into our soil. This is a USDA certified organic moringa powder. And this is something that we added to the kit so that way you can amend your soil. This is a soil amendment. And it's very similar to the powder that you would put in your mouth and also eat as a human consumption. It's just that there are little differences between the production process of producing a human consumption product versus a plant consumption product. So this is considered not for human consumption. And it is essentially it's like a B grade powder that has a little bit of sticks and stems in it that also adds to the mineral content for the soil. All right. And then, of course, the box, and it's going to have some instructions in there for you. You're going to have your QR code, and that's going to be included with your kit here with the box. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to show you what else is included with the kit. You get this sprouting mat. this beautiful sprouting mat here. This comes with the kit. This is what's going to give your root systems a hold. It's going to allow them to stay sturdy and strong. This is also going to help keep the soil moist. And it's also going to help even absorb any loose water that's in the bottom of the tray. It's going to separate any of the water that's in the bottom because there's little ridges down here. So water might settle actually in the bottom below this. And there's a little bit of a barrier there between the water down below and the soil. And then a really nice tray here. There's no holes in it. This is what's going to allow you to be able to make your kit on your kitchen table. All right, so let's get started. What's step one? Step one is to make your solution, your biostimulant solution. Okay, let's add some water to ourselves. Thanks everybody for coming in. Okay, so the very first step is to make your own biostimulant solution. So here we have our MLE, moringa leaf extract, also known as our biostimulant extract, and we've got a gallon of water. What I really love about this bottle is that it already has a measurement on it. And the trick is to know that it's 1 ounce for every 32 ounces of water. And I do believe that a gallon is like 128, something like that, ounces, right? So 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's 4 times the amount in that ratio. So if it's 1 ounce of MLE to 32 ounces of water, then we need 4 ounces of MLE into 1 gallon of water. So let's put 4 ounces in there now, and you can see how it begins to mix. What's really cool is that this can actually be measured out just by squeezing this bottle, which is really cool. Okay, so this is actually a 1/2 ounce squeezer. So for every 2 is going to be 1 ounce. So we need to actually do 8 of these. Ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Because 4 of those, actually, no, we need to double that. We need to double that. We need 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. 8. And that's about half a bottle. So what you'll get is you'll be able to get 2 gallons out of this bottle. Okay. And so that's 4 ounces to every gallon. And the reason why we had to double it is because this is a half. Okay. So boom. That's perfect. There we go. That's a good mix. That's a nice, strong mix for you, right? Now, the next step is to actually put it in your sprayer. Okay, so you want to go ahead and put it into a sprayer. Now, I already have this full of MLE. So really what we're going to do is get our mat wet here with MLE. Spray it. Let me see if I can bring this up. Thanks everybody for coming in. Really appreciate you. Oh, good. Vic is in here saying he wants to get started. Nice. So we're just going to get our mat wet here. And we're just going to spray some of this MLE biostimulant extract on our mat. Just kind of soak up our mat a little bit. Right? Just kind of get it first soaked in. That'll start really soaking up some of that good vitamins and minerals that's inside of the moringa leaf extract. There we go. Doesn't take much. You don't want to get really too wet. Okay. The key is to actually keep the soil wet on the top. Once we make the soil and we put the soil in, we put the seeds on, the trick is to actually over the next week is to keep the top fairly moist so that way your seeds sprout. And then from there, you can really start watering it a little bit more. Okay. So here's the trick that I wanted to tell you. We actually pre-soaked the seeds. So in the instructions that I have on the website, growmoringa.com/microgreens-kit, I'm actually making that site right now, that page, and it talks about how you're going to want to soak. You'll want to soak your seeds for 24 hours in a little bowl like this. This has the MLE in it and water. And so I put a little paper towel on top so that way they all stayed wet. And now they're pre-soaked. And we'll come back to this. But this is essentially what I wanted to share with you. So thanks for sticking around and watching this key part about helping to get your moringa seeds to sprout really easy is just a 24-hour pre-soak. In the meantime, let's go ahead and make our soil. Okay. So we've got ourselves a bucket here. And the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and throw in our 4 pounds of soil. Hey, welcome, David. Oh, wow. Vix and Brandon, not too far from us. We're here right up here in Plant City. Welcome. Great. So we're going to go ahead and put our soil right in here. You're in a great spot to be able to grow moringa all year round, actually. I noticed that Brandon is actually literally like a little like tropical oasis. It's like a paradise. I love Brandon. Actually, I'm looking for a warehouse right now in Brandon. I found a $1.2 million warehouse down there, and I've been getting on the phone with some hard money lenders. So that way we could potentially get a warehouse to help increase our production and actually have a place where we can not only process more greens, but also put a lot of these kits together for people to just come in and pick things up, just because it's tough to just get as many people that want to come and visit here when this is still kind of like a little bit of a private area. But if you want to get a kit, please order the kit and I'll put it together this week. Right? So soil, 4 pounds, bang, inside of here. Next step is to add your moringa powder. Ready? Look at this. So we've got about 113 grams of moringa powder in here. And then you add your moringa powder. Add the whole bag. This is going to amend your soil. Moringa powder, as we know, might be good for you and your body, but it's also good for the soil as well. So go ahead and use your moringa powder in there. Great. And then the next step, we're going to add the perlite. Everybody having fun? Welcome, welcome. So now we're adding the perlite. This is obsidian glass. Perlite is obsidian glass that has been heated. So it is an inorganic substance. It's actually glass. It's a volcanic glass that was formed in the soil, in the ground. It's a rock. And then it was heated. And the heat pops it like a popcorn. So now we're going to mix those 3 ingredients, the soil, the powder, and the perlite into a nice clean mix here. So the green powder, the moringa powder, the biostimulant powder, is helping to bring this soil back to life, because composted soil, it hasn't been cooked, but it's been sitting in a pile for a year, and it's been heated to help kill any of the seeds, so that way they don't sprout seeds and weeds and things like that. So they cook it, it's in a pile. It's not actually cooked in an oven, but they sit it in huge piles. And what that does is it just kills everything in it. So there's nothing really alive in this base of a soil. So we need to reinvigorate it. We need to give it vitamins and minerals, and then that's why we have the liquid extract, so that way we can bring back the vitamins and minerals, or bring back the microorganisms in the soil here. Okay. Next step from here is to go ahead and start putting it in our tray. All right, so let's go ahead and start dumping this in our tray. We've got 4 pounds of soil here. We're going to put most of it in there. You're going to leave some for the top. You're going to put most of it in there. Great. Now we've got a nice base of soil here. It's pretty heavy now. Tray's getting a little heavy. It looks really good. Now we've got our pre-soaked seeds. This was step 2. After you make your biostimulant solution, you want to soak your seeds overnight. Okay. I'll just set this down. And now we can grab our soaked seeds, and we're just going to spread them out on the tray to where it makes a nice thin layer of seeds. We've got 200 moringa seeds in here that have been soaking overnight inside of this biostimulant solution. It's all organic. There's no harsh chemicals or anything like that in the MLE. Great. So now we've got a nice layer of 200 seeds. I'm going to go ahead and spread these out really nice and even. And we're not going to let this water go to waste. We're actually going to use it. Let's go ahead and spread these seeds out nice and evenly. Okay. So that way they have a nice space. Everybody's nice and spaced out. That way they have their own space. All right, respect everybody's space now. Seed distancing, everybody, seed distancing. So get your seeds nice and distant from everybody. I'm actually going to be at the Florida Permaculture Convergence. I'm going to be doing this at the Florida Permaculture Convergence as well. So we're going to get a bunch of these going. That's in December. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be at Wonderfield Farms as it was last year. But I'm going to be presenting this year at the Florida Permaculture Convergence. Look at that. Boom. Look at that beautiful tray of moringa seeds. This is how you put your Moringa Microgreens Kit together. Start off with your tray, then get your sprouting mat down there. Soak your sprouting mat a little bit with some MLE biostimulant solution, then add your mixed soil, and then put your seeds on top of that. So we've got 200 seeds in here, really nicely spread out, all corners. All right, seed distancing. Nobody's really stretching and touching and getting on anybody else. Okay, and we'll finish it off with a nice layer of soil on top of that. The rule is that you bury the seed as big as the seed. So I use my pinky to measure how deep I plant moringa seeds. I usually plant it about that first knuckle on my pinky deep. So that's about a half an inch. So the rule is you plant seeds for as big as they are. We get that a lot of questions. Like, how deep do I plant them? You just plant them however big, the depth that they are big. And moringa seeds are pretty big. Some seeds like to be like cold started. Moringa is a very hot loving tree. We actually had somebody today send us a photo in Instagram, and they were asking because they just cut their sticks back. They just cut their trees back, and they have these moringa sticks. And they were asking because they put the sticks in pots, and they had the pots in full sun with the branches still on them. And so they snapped a picture, and I was like, well, to start a stick without any roots in it actually needs to be dark. It needs to be in a place that stays wet and moist. Otherwise, those are going to just dry out in the sun because they don't have any roots. So you'll want to, if you're starting a tree from a cutting, you'll want to start that in a shady spot, in a very moist, shady spot. And then you'll also want to remove any of the branches off of that cutting as well, because they're just going to die. Those leaves that are on those branches are just going to die. Great. So we pretty much used all of our soil here. Everything is really nicely layered and covered. And I really love the perlite because it really helps with drainage. And so the trick with watering is kind of get a gauge for how heavy this is before you water, right? It's pretty heavy. And I don't really want to have a lot of water soaking in the bottom. So that's why I really like to, and that's why I'll probably just put this back into the water, or even let's just go ahead and use it right now. It's fine. Okay, so we'll just at least use that little bit. But the trick to get your moringa seeds to sprout from here is to actually keep this top half inch wet for the next 6 to 10 days. So we'll go ahead and add another layer of MLE on here. And you want to give it a nice good soak. You want to make sure that the seeds don't ever have a chance to dry out. The trick with getting your trees to sprout is when you water enough to get wet all the way down, but you also allow the top to dry off quite a little bit every day. You don't ever want to have your top soaked for like 6, 7, 8, 10 days at a time, because what's going to happen is you're going to form a layer of mold and fungus to form on top. Excuse me. So the trick to this success is actually soaking it enough to where it's wet, and you know that it's wet all the way through to the seeds. And then to possibly not water it again for another day to 2 days. If you need to stick your finger down there to see if it's wet or if there's any moisture down there, go right ahead. But you just don't want to keep it super, super wet. Especially the surface. The surface has to dry out just a little bit, because it's going to keep that mold and bacteria from forming on the top, because that'll wipe your seeds out. If you get any fungus to really take hold, they could end up overpowering the seed and the root, and then just they won't sprout. So there is a fine balance between wet and dry. And that's something that I've had to also just master over the last couple of years. And even just showing you this and getting these to sprout. I have 2 other trays that I've sprouted over the last 3 weeks. Every Sunday I've been going live and showing you how to make this kit. And so I have two other kits that are sprouting right now. They're just now starting to pop up. But that's it. Now kind of gauge that it's got some weight to it. Right? So we added that water. Now I can kind of really feel that weight to it. And now that is going to be something that we set out. It can be in a nice dark spot. You don't want to have it actually in the sun. You don't want to have it in a window. You want to be able to have this in a dark, cool spot. You could have a little fan on it. That way it at least dries the surface, but you want the soil to maintain its moisture level in there. If it ever dries up in the course of the next 6 to 10 days, those seeds are not going to be as viable. But the reason why we soaked the seeds overnight was to give them a nice head start to where you don't have to water it as much, and they'll also sprout a lot faster because they've been soaking in the biostimulant. All right, good. Marie's over here learning some good stuff. Well, awesome. Good. I'm so happy that everybody's here enjoying this day with me. I'm glad everybody's having a great day. This has been a great demonstration on how you can begin to enjoy your very own Moringa Microgreens Kit. Get the greens here. And this is what you can have a product here every day. You can end up making $5-10 a day, make your money back completely off of just having this kit. And you can also just enjoy fresh greens yourself. You're going to be able to produce lots of greens. This is what happened here. I already cut this back like a week ago. And I cut it above the first leaf. Now it's already popping out a whole new stem and a whole new stem. It's got 2 stems to it. Look at that. It's got 2 new stems and there's one in the middle there. That's the old cut that I made. So I made that cut probably about a week or 2 weeks ago. And now it's got 2 new stems on it. And that's what continually is going to happen. And that's what I'm also teaching on my channel. When you go out and cut your trees back, they're going to stay short and bushy if you keep eating them and maintaining them and eating them on a regular basis. Great. Were there any questions for me here? We've got a few people that have been hanging out. Does anybody want to join me inside the room? I can also share the WhatsApp, not the WhatsApp. I can share the Zoom. If anybody wanted to come in the Zoom. If anybody wanted to come into the Zoom, you're more than welcome to come on in. Hang out with me in here, ask questions while I'm live. We could share the screen and would love to be able to talk with anybody that's here watching. If you want to get on, totally cool. If not, totally understand. It's a nice, chill Sunday afternoon. We're actually excited to get outside and do a little bit more work today. Out here in the field, here's another example. I went ahead and cut this one back about a week or so ago. When I cut it back, it split to become a much shorter, bushier tree. And I can tell, look how thick this stem got. So what happens is when you cut it back, the stem actually thickens up. And that's how you get woodier, thicker stems faster. Now, what could happen is if you cut it below the first leaf like this, boom, the energy is going to go back down into the seed and then it's going to come back up and it's going to sprout even more from a new stem, a whole new stem. So a lot of these stems might actually just die back completely and all new ones are coming back in. Like I can see this one here. It's got like 3 or 4 stems coming off of it. I'm really just trying to thin out any of these ones that are getting really tall. And I'm getting ready to go out and get some pizza. Yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for coming in. Let me know if you have any questions while we're here. It's going to be a really great way for you to get started and just having greens on your table. Boom. So moringa is actually it's the most nutritious plant that you can eat on land. And if you're definitely feeding it the moringa leaf juice, then you're putting all those vitamins and minerals back into the soil, and it's providing you a nice dark leafy green like this. Which is really good for you. If you suffer from anemia or over 300 known other diseases in the body, especially if you're lacking minerals in the blood actually really just needs some extra iron. Oh my goodness, there's a white spider in here. Wow, that's so cool. It's an all white spider. Isn't that cool? Wow. She's beautiful. She's got a big sack on her, might have a bunch of babies in there. What we'll do is we'll close this up and then we'll make sure to take her outside. Isn't that cool? I always notice that there's always an ecosystem of beneficial bugs that are in the moringa forest. So there's always lots of beneficial bugs too. So that's why I think there isn't really as many pests with growing moringa. I mean, there are a few things, mostly fungus, right? But there are a few things that come with growing moringa. But some of the ways that you can reduce the pests is using the MLE and mixing 4 ounces to every gallon of water. And it comes in the kit. We use about a half a bottle to put in there. Each kit comes with 2 gallons worth of mix that you can make. And that'll last you quite a bit because you're just watering a little bit. And I don't water the MLE every time. So here's another tip is I rotate it. So every few days I water with the MLE. Then I'll water with, I'll just use regular water in between. And that helps to just kind of dilute it even further, give it some time to really boost and grow those microorganisms. And then I feed it usually a small watering every 3 to 4 days of the MLE. So this 2 gallons worth bottle is going to be able to last you quite a while, 30, 60 days of at least establishing your kit. All right, yeah, we've pretty much gotten back all of the really tall ones. I really just wanted to grab any of the really tall ones here that were just starting to stand up a little bit tall. Any one of these first leaves back that we're already just going to start yellowing out anyways. By the next time you see this bed here, this kit is going to be thick with a lot of greens. Because the rule is, if you trim it below the first leaf, it's going to go back and resprout a whole new stem. But if you cut it above the first leaf like this, it'll split out from here and it'll produce 2 new stems. That's how you can keep your trees short, bushy, and producing lots and lots of greens for you for months. And then after this kit, you can tell that it's been 30, 60, 90 days. You might see some tap roots and some little carrots kind of coming up there. We call that the horseradish because moringa produces a tuber. The root actually by 60, 90 days produces a nice big tuber. And then it turns into something like this. The little tuber kind of starts off like this. And then after 60 days or so, then the tuber really starts to form big like this. So then you can just pull them out of the kit and stick it in the ground or put it in a pot. And then within 3, 6, 9 months, depending on where you are, you'll have something like this. Now, this was already 6 foot tall. I cut this back so that way I could put this in a box and ship it as a mature tree. I took the photos of this the other day. And this is also what you can take to the farmer's market when someone says, hey, can I buy a moringa tree? Yeah, You can have a couple of trees and pots as display, but then you can sell them this and say, take this home. Doesn't have any soil. You don't have to, it's not heavy. This is how you can sell the moringa trees very easily without a pot and without a soil. That way it's cheaper for the person buying it. And then it's easier for them to just take it home and stick it right in the ground. Because what happens is when you transport moringa trees all over the place, the greens end up just, they're sensitive. When you're moving big pots around all the time, you're jiggling and jumbling up all the roots, and then the leaves don't really look that good. By the time you get to the farmer's market, the leaves are kind of wilty. You've got to water it. But if you just sell something like this, and hey, this will start resprouting all new branches in the next 2 weeks, that'll blow people away. So get your kit. It's got 200 seeds in it, and we're going to go ahead and say la vie. Hope everybody here had a great day. I really appreciate you for joining us and coming in. I'm really happy that we had a chance to teach you how to grow moringa in this beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. I hope you were able to spend it with your friends and family. And I hope that you learned something here today. I'm glad I had a chance to do another kit for you. And please don't hesitate to grab your kit from us, and would love to see you around. Give me a text if you need me, 813-567-3100. And if you are in need of any extra support, we also have a free marketplace. You can get into the free marketplace. And also we have, of course, our agricultural collective, where if you really want to get the hands-on support, get access to my book and our members community, we have the Grow Moringa Collective, where you can sign up to collective membership. It's 10% off pretty much every day. Using code Moringa10, you can get a 10% off discount. And it's currently on sale until September 9th. September 9th, we are going to be doubling the price. And on September 9th, we actually have a members meetup coming in here. People are going to be coming into the farm from all over the country. We've got some people driving in from Indiana and Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Louisiana, and a few other states, Tennessee. We've got some people driving all over the state of Florida just to come here on Saturday, September 9th, hang out with me from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that's going to give you a full access day to the farm. You can ask me questions, of course. Sign up for membership to get your ticket to come into the second annual members meeting. And I'd love to hang out with you that day. So thanks, everybody. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon. Ciao. Ciao, Bellas.